Good evening. Welcome to PullyMinistries, the good news. Trying to do a little something different here today. If you're like me, or most people, I assume that at some point, before you go to work or when you get home from work, you like to turn on the news so you can stay informed about what's happening in the world. Or at least you suffer through the news stories so you can watch sports and see that RG3 and the Redskins destroyed your football team. Or maybe, to see what the weather's going to be so you can plan your week out. And if you're like me, I'm just absolutely sick to death of the news. I hardly even watch it anymore, and here's why. The news paints a horrible picture of the world. To watch the local news, you'd be sure that what Jesus said in the Gospel of Luke, that nation will go to war against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes and famines and plagues in many lands. And there will be terrifying things and miraculous signs from heaven. You'd be sure that that's taking place right now to watch the local news anyway. The news is filled with stories of kidnapping, murder, theft, political scandals, and wars, and rumors of wars. And one would not be blamed for watching the news and deciding that the world is an abysmal and dark place, with no good deeds being done anywhere, and no good people left in it. But you see, this is called sensationalism. Wikipedia defines sensationalism as a type of editorial bias in which events and topics and news stories are overhyped to increase viewership numbers. It goes on to say that sensationalism may include reporting about generally insignificant matters that don't even influence overall society, and biased presentations of newsworthy topics in a sensationalist, trivial, or tabloid manner. In other words, what news stations do is, they call up the sheriff's department and stuff, and they try to find out the worst and most shocking things that's going on at the time, so that they can catch your attention. And it works. If you think about it, if you're watching your favorite program like Under the Dome or Once Upon a Time or True Blood, whatever it is that you watch, and during the commercial, the local news anchor says, "Stay tuned at 11. Local man saves a kitten from a tree." It's not going to catch your attention. Or if they say, man helps lady across the street, nobody's going to stop what they're doing. But if they break in and they say, local man has standoff with the police resulting in gunfire, stay tuned to find out where and where, that grabs your attention. And you're going to watch so you can see where it was, if it was close to you or anything. And, they might mention one or two good things that's happening, but mainly they don't. And it's just about, the most shocking, the most sensationalist, the most horrific headlines is what they try to get so they can grab your attention. So anyway, that's why I'm making this video in a new segment that I'm calling The Good News. The point of this segment will be to track down and find good stuff that's happening in the world for people who want to know about it and who are tired of desensitized and sensationalized news reports. And this is not a sermon, but before we begin, I'd like to ask you to pray with me. So if we can bow our heads. Give thanks to the Lord and proclaim His greatness. Let the whole world know what He has done. Sing to Him. Yes, sing His praises. Tell everyone about His wonderful deeds. Exalt in His holy name. And rejoice, you who worship the Lord. Amen. Thank you for praying with me. Alright, so I did some looking and Googling and researching, and here's some of the good news that I found to report to everybody. The first story is in Houston, Texas. A 9-year-old named Kanye Orts, who was a huge J.J. Watt fan, waited in line at the Houston, Texas training camp, hoping to get an autograph from his favorite player, J.J. Watt. After waiting for some time in the crowd, he finally did get his football signed by J.J., and for him it was a dream come true. However, as he was leaving with his parents in the training camp, Kanye spotted another child, 15-year-old Zuriel Sanchez. Sanchez suffered from spina bifida, which is a spinal disorder, and he was bound to a wheelchair. Feeling bad for the boy, knowing it was much harder for him to get through the crowd, Kanye turned to his parents and did something that I think most of us would be proud of our kids for doing. And it's a wonderful, astounding thing. He said, "I want to give my football to that kid in the wheelchair." So he waited in line all this time. If J.J. Watt's his hero, he finally got his ball signed by J.J. and he gave it to a young boy in a wheelchair. Amen. I mean, that's great. I think, that's a great thing for him to do. So thank you, Kanye, and God bless you. Second story, this actually did get some widespread media coverage, but I think it bears repeating. And that 64-year-old Diana Nayed fulfilled her life dream by swimming from Cuba to Florida, which is, that's all the way across the ocean. Despite chilly water and stinging jellyfish, she swam for 48 hours, becoming the first person to accomplish this feat without the aid of a shark cage. 2 miles before the finish line, she stopped to thank all of her team who helped her to finish this feat. And she also had a very special message for all of us, which is you're never too old to accomplish your dreams. So, glory. I mean, you're never too old. Whatever you want to do, today is the first day of the rest of your life, get it done. 64 years old, she swam across the ocean. No shark cage, cold water, stinging jellyfish. Thank you, Diana, for your story, and God bless you. In Memphis, Tennessee, a 17-year-old high school senior named Seth Goldstein was running the last loop of a cross-country race when one of the other participants in the race collapsed to the ground. Seth stopped to help him while everybody else kept running. During his interview, Goldstein said that the boy's lips were turning blue and his eyes were rolled back in his head. I was freaking out, but I knew the panicking wasn't going to do any good. The fallen student had begun to cough up blood, and Seth rolled him over onto his stomach so that he wouldn't choke. He then waved down some nearby spectators whom he had called 911. Once paramedics arrived, diagnosed the condition of the fallen runner, and knew that he would be okay, Seth asked if he could finish the race. And the paramedics were astounded. They were like, "You're racing?" They thought he was a bystander. They didn't realize he was actually a participant, and that he gave up his position in the race to save this boy. So Seth went on to finish the race, and he finished the race with the worst time, but he was greeted with a hero's welcome at the finish line. So God bless you, Seth, and thank you very much for saving that young man's life. The next story is about a young boy from England named Syrian Kelso. He is 8 years old, but when he was 13 months old, he lost both of his legs due to an infection. When he first saw the movie Dolphin's Tale, you remember that movie where the dolphin lost his tail, and I think Morgan Freeman made him a new one? It was a good movie. But that dolphin was real. And when young Syrian first saw the movie, he said, "Look, Dad, Winter's disabled just like me." And recently, some tourism officials flew little Syrian out there to where the dolphin is kept. And his dad raised the money to get him some prosthetic flippers. So he finally got to swim with the dolphin. It's amazing. They took him out there with the dolphin in the movie, gave him his prosthetic legs, and they dropped him in the tank with him. His father said it's always just been a dolphin in the movie, but now it's real. Swimming with the dolphin is the best thing anybody ever could have, Kelso told the BBC when he got back home. So that's amazing. They took him out there and let him swim with the dolphin from the movie, and he's only the second person ever to swim with that dolphin. So God is working in the world. I mean, that's just an amazing story. Poor guy lost his legs when he was just a year old. And, he continues to live his life and be optimistic. And he got his just reward. So moving on to Florida, 500 baby sea turtles were released into the water off of Florida's Atlantic coast on the beds of seaweed where they'll have a better chance to survive. They were collected from nests throughout the state by biologists and the United States Coast Guard. The loggerhead turtles are threatened and the leatherbacks are endangered. However, all sea turtles are federally protected. The biologist in charge said, "Many of these baby turtles I literally pulled from their nests myself. We rescue these guys knowing that they're going to release them back into a place where they have a much better chance of survival." So that's pretty awesome. A lot of turtles' survival rate is very low. So these biologists, and the Coast Guard went around the beaches of Florida, collected them out of their nests, and when they were ready to be released, they took them to a place where they'd have a lot better chance and let them go. So that's awesome. I have turtles and I'm a turtle lover, so gotta love that. Truck driver Fred Cole was hauling debris in the New Jersey Turnpike when he saw what appeared to be two swans in the road. He pulled over to help them when he realized that one was an injured female and the other was a male protecting her. He tried several times. He pulled his truck over and tried to shoo the birds off the road. but inadvertently they kept going into the traffic while he was trying to shoo them. The Fred even he took his own lunch and he tried to use the food to get the birds off the highway. After a few more failed attempts, he called the state police, and they came and actually closed down. The state police actually closed down 2 lanes of the New Jersey Turnpike, while Fred and the highway employee used a broom to get the birds under the guardrail and back into the wild. Fred followed the birds for a little while to make sure they did not return to the highway. He said he's always been an animal lover and he owned a few parrots and he just wanted to help. So thank you, Fred. God bless you. This guy took time out of his life, stopped hauling his freight to get these birds off the road. So plenty of good people in the world. They don't want you to know that. There are plenty of great people in the world who do great things. And this is just a few stories. I found these in a few minutes. So imagine, if you were to really look, how many things you could find. The last story is about a 10-year-old boy named Austin Beach. He and his family were visiting a hotel in Mississippi. Little Austin could not wait to get into the pool. And well, thank God for that, because as soon as they checked into the hotel, Austin ran and jumped in the pool. And the first thing he saw was something that would chill anybody's heart. It was a still body of a 4-year-old girl who had gotten away from her mother and sunk to the bottom of the pool. So Austin swam down and grabbed her, quickly brought her to the surface where she was rushed to a local hospital and saved. And it's just the worst thing I've ever seen. The hotel security tape, you can actually watch this little girl drowning. You see she got away from her parents and she was fighting in the middle of the pool. You could actually watch her give up and sink to the bottom of the pool. It's just the most heart-wrenching thing I've ever seen. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. But thank God that the end of that story is this young man, Austin Beach, swimming down there and saving her life. So Austin's mother said that all of her children are precious, but a heart like Austin's is hard to find, and he enjoys helping other people. So God bless you, Austin, and thank you for your heroic deeds. These just a few heartwarming stories, heart-wrenching stories of heroism and dreams come true. I hope everybody watches this video, and more importantly, I hope you enjoy it, and it's something that you want me to do again. I just wanted to give people something to hope for, and to show you that despite what you see on the news, the sensationalist news, that God is still very alive in the world today. And wonderful things are happening all the time. People are doing great things, whether it's saving a little girl's life, or saving 2 birds off the highway, or saving turtles. Great things happening all over the world. There's plenty of heroes in the world that don't wear capes, that don't have utility belts. They're people just like you and me who love God and do great things all over the world. So God's alive in the world. Great things happening all the time. Until next time, thank you for watching the good news.